everybody, this is Leanne from Pursuit of Profit. Today I'm introducing you to the amazing, brilliant, fantastic Steve Larsen. Say hi, Steve.
Hello, Leanne. I'm tempted to keep my mouth shut so I don't ruin any of those adjectives you just used to describe me, but thank you very much.
We'll let people self-discover. So Steve and I are partners, and one thing you should know about Steve is that he is a CPA, so you're going to get lots of tax information out of him over time. But we're not talking about taxes today, are we, Steve?
We're not talking about taxes. We're going to save the boring stuff for another day.
Today we were having a really great conversation, and we decided that this was good conversation to bring to the masses. And what we were talking about, jump in at any minute. What we were talking about was this thing that we see in our practice when we are working with business owners, and that moment of honesty that people bring to our offices where they say stuff like, I had it happen this week. People said, I feel helpless. There is a situation going on here. I don't know how to fix it. I'm frustrated. But at the same time, they actually love their business. So there are these strong emotions that came. And I felt like you had a lot of really great insights on those emotions, especially for dudes. So how about you talk to dudes?
Yeah, I was on a roll, I guess, because I hadn't eaten and I was, getting a little bit delirious. But we talked about some good stuff. And I think one of those things is that, people are really comparing themselves to this false benchmark. And you see it more in the personal space. It's well documented now. You can find an article every week about you're comparing your back office to everybody's highlight reel. So basically you see everything that's going on Facebook, on Instagram. Wow, they're killing it. They're growing. They're crushing, right? Crush it. Everybody crush it.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here thinking, man, I'm not doing that. Like I'm paying bills and things are okay, but I've got all this other stuff going on. And I think most business owners don't know that the problems they're dealing with are super common. I'm about 15 years into my business and it pays my bills and it's fairly consistent. That doesn't mean I don't have a stack of things, even financially related as a CPA, that I'm dealing with on a regular basis. But, if I'm listening to, a couple, top 10 business podcasts, man, I would think I was the world's biggest train wreck. And so I think that it's like, oh, wow, I didn't speak at any conferences this month, but, I'm not on track. I've got all kinds of problems. And so I think it's a matter of just, getting a more realistic benchmark to start measuring yourself on.
I totally agree. One thing I see all the time, every day, because all I do every day is work with entrepreneurs and their money, is this thought of, hey, I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't want to show you. I should know these things. Or things like, hey, I have a bookkeeper and, they kind of send me these reports like once a week or once a month or something like that. And there comes that moment where they're like, for one reason or another, either they're profitable and they're doing great and they want to do better and they want to keep more of what they're making, or they're not as profitable as they want to be and they don't know how to fix it. In either case, I have business owners telling me every day they want something different from their business. They want something different for their business, and they have no idea how to do that. And here's the thing, they have no one to talk to about it, usually. Until they've reached that place where reaching out for help is less painful than staying where they are, right?
That's a great point. And I think what you see in reality, what we see when we work with business owners is what works is incremental change. Changes move forward. And you only have to get to step 2 or 3 and your life is changing. It doesn't take a whole lot. Right. But when you don't have somebody to talk to, you go online, you do the podcast, you do the course, you read online, and nobody wants to read an article about incremental change. It's not going to sell. It's not popular. It doesn't happen. So what do you get? These swing for the fences strategies. Like, man, that'll solve my problem. Tripling my revenue in 60 days with these 4 easy steps. Like, that would solve everything.
Yes,
I want that. So you swing for the fences. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, write that. Actually, title this video that and watch people click on it, right? Because it's tempting. It's very attractive to do that. But then the problem becomes it's just another strategy that worked for 1 out of 100,000 people in some other business that's not going to work for you. And so the hard work of making incremental changes doesn't happen because you don't connect with that person to do it. You're looking for that shortcut where you don't have to admit your shortcomings to somebody because you perceive them as shortcomings, but they're not. It's just a reality everyone's dealing with.
It's totally normal, right? Like, it's the thing. So Steve knows this, the audience doesn't, but it pains me that after we've gotten somebody really profitable and they're doing great, that I'm literally the best kept secret. Like, people don't want to admit that they spent time in my office, and it's so backwards. Like, where are business owners supposed to get good financial advice? I don't know, and they don't know either. Well, we know from us.
We
right?
know.
We know.
Short redheads. Short redheads is where you want to get your business advice, always. But I think one of the reasons I feel like that is that there's a lot of pressure on males in particular, and females too, more so, to really understand finances at a high level, understand businesses at a high level. And that translates into them thinking they have to do it on their own. So, for example, there was a period of time where I thought, man, I better be handy around the house, and I better be able to do projects, and I better not ask for help. And nothing got done during that period of time because I can't do anything. It's fairly worthless. And then it's just a matter of saying, look, it's just not my thing. Like, I can swing a hammer. I'm coordinated. I have strength. I just don't have the patience for this. So I better start bringing in friends to help me, bringing in professionals to help me. I better start managing these projects instead of doing them. And guess what? Things got done. I was happier. Things improved slowly. Life was good. But I think that parallels to business for a lot of people, which is they feel like, hey, I'm a business owner. I'm a CEO. I'm an entrepreneur. I should be able to handle this without much help. But really, you need somebody to talk to about it. You need somebody to kind of walk that path with you, because there gets to be a lot, and it gets to be stressful.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think and hear feedback about so much is how grateful people are when they finally have that moment with me where I'm sitting with all of their expenses and all of their income, virtually or in person, and say, okay, why are we spending money on this? And they kind of say to me, like, hell if I know. And I'm like, right, like, it's time for that checkup, and that third party looking in and over things is actually something that brings people a lot of freedom. It's great. But you have to be able to ask for the help and get the help that you need.
Yeah, and it's admitting, and I think a lot of people just feel deep down like that's admitting defeat, but it's admitting that you're human. It's admitting that it's good to work with people, and it's good to have, like, half the people we work with, we don't tell them anything they don't already know. We just sit there with them till they do it.
Right.
And that's what we need a lot of times. It's like people who hire a trainer, like, I know how to bench press, I know how to lift weights, but until somebody's sitting there staring at me being like, just do it, right? You don't do it. And it's not dissimilar to that.
No, it's perfect. Well, hey, this was a great first episode. I'm glad that everybody got to meet you, Steve.
Thanks for introducing me.
You're going to see more of Steve. He's going to pop in here. We're going to start taking some tax questions, and soon Steve and I are going to make ourselves available to a private Facebook community. So be looking out for that announcement.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a profitable week, everyone. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Leanne.
Bye.
Good ending.